Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with a quick update on Bitcoin. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Alright, so anybody that's been watching the channel knows that we were way back down here. We were calling for the pop-up head and shoulders to put in our right shoulder. And as you can see, we bounced the neckline perfectly, got the move up, and now here we are at the top of the range. Putting in our shoulder. We basically have gotten rejected at the 618 fib from the move, the top right here, down to our double bottom right here. Everybody knows that we took the long position off the double bottom and we got the breakout from this range, came up, retest, found support, and got our push up. We hit our first target right here. Now we have just fallen short of our second target. I'm not convinced at this point in time that we're not going to find support, get our move back up, and complete the second target as well. Obviously, some of the altcoins, especially Ethereum, have been particularly bullish. But anybody that's been in the space for some time now knows this is very reminiscent of the previous bull run, where there were basically like no new developments made. The fees were off. I mean, just absolutely out of control. There were no improvements to the exchanges, no improvements to the actual cryptos. But aside from like the actual fundamentals of it, I'm seeing no additional money in the market. We have less than half our market cap from the all-time highs overall, and Bitcoin dominance is down. So that means not only does Bitcoin have less money in it in comparison to the overall market, it just means that there are just crazy amounts of shitcoins running rampant right now, and that most of this is just probably distribution pump and dump. Everybody is getting extremely bullish here at the top of the range. Once we've already broken out, once we're already at the top, and that is basically like number one indicator that you know, the moon boys are about to get wrecked, and essentially the bulls are going to get hopefully one more push up here to meet our next target. They will get absolutely ridiculously bullish, and you know, of course, we will be waiting at the finish line with the grill already fired up, the charcoal burning, and we'll be cooking up steaks the second the bulls get there. And we might even make it some surf and turf, because we're going to be massacring the whales as well. So I'm expecting essentially us to top back out here at that 12,155 range, right around here. We'll get that final push up, develop our divergence, and then essentially we can get our hard sell out of the range, break through all of these parabolic supports that we have developed, and then we can get a legitimate retrace back down to test the neckline. And you'll see here when we did it previously, this is our neckline here. We got the initial push up, consolidation, and then another high. That's what I'm expecting. The initial push up, consolidation, and then another high. We reach our target, and then we sell back off violently down to the neckline. When we reach the neckline, we could even get an additional move up like this, where we come back up and essentially put in a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, a shoulder. That is a very common pattern. It's just a different type of head and shoulders, but essentially it's the same thing. You'll often notice a wick will actually come up a little bit higher, and we'll put in like basically like a stop hunt, throw over, and then we'll get that violent move down to the neckline, overshoot it, probably a retest back up, at which point in time, once we get that retest and fail to break back above it, I would expect us to sell off, break the neckline, and then get our measured move. And you know, you can take basically from the head to the neckline here, and we can move that over to you know, the neckline break, and essentially that's going to get our breakdown back to our purple support down here. It's also going to be the 1.5 1.618 of the fib level from the bottom of the move right here back up to the top. That's our fib extension. So that is an awful lot of confluence, especially once we have gotten a push up here for essentially no reason, based on a bunch of just, you know, trash bag DeFi stuff that's not even been audited. That's essentially just another pump and dump crypto scheme. None of it has been tested. None of it's functional. Very few of these coins have even, you know, been around, or protocols have been around for very long. It's essentially just marketing and selling a dream. But again, that's what distribution looks like. You essentially get all this money, have to have a way to get out of your position in all these shit coins. So you run them up and then you sell into strength. And that's exactly what's been taking place. Once again, Ethereum is up near $500. It's still a fraction of its all-time high. It's actually closer to like 40%, at least at this point in time. So it's starting to look decent. But I feel like the majority of that is just being held up by, this institutional money that has come in. And once again, the moment the traditional markets start to crash or sell off, the first thing they will do is liquidate all these, very risky assets. So they'll be selling off their Bitcoin, they'll be selling off their Ethereum, and whatever sucker projects they got involved with. And once again, it's going to cause that violent crash that we've all seen over and over again. Now, in the event that we do actually find support here and get a push back up and take out the high, we are not completely out of the water yet. That's once again a Wyckoff distribution pattern where we come up, put in a new high, and then we get the throw over dump. Now, if we do actually get a confirmed close on a longer time frame up here at the top of the range, we consolidate, continue to step up and build support, it will look extremely bullish if we do that. But so far, what we're doing is it's not necessarily constructive. And, of course, obviously, like always, we are extremely cautious in these markets. This is the exact sentiment, the exact mentality, the exact range. I mean, this is literally just everything you do and want to do, to basically trick people into like FOMOing into these, absolute tops. So the longer we consolidate here after the breakout, the better it's going to look. But once again, to me, this doesn't look bullish, because if you switch over to CMEs, you can get a better scope of it and see that, we are basically just, although we're consolidating at the top of the range in spot markets, we're essentially just failing to put in a higher high on the CMEs and the traditional markets. So, and once again, like we know here, as soon as CMEs open, we got the massive downtrend, essentially like change in the market structure, like permanently. And now here we are, basically, 2+ years later, and I don't see any reason why anything has changed. I don't see any reason why we're going to be able to get a move up above this without new money coming in, without any actual developments coming in. But if we do look on our weekly time frame here, you'll notice that we do have the histogram above the slope line. We have flipped it over blue, so these tend to last for extended periods of time. So if we do consolidate here long enough, we can get our continuation to the upside. But we have to just check this out and see, we are at the top of the range here. We are consolidating temporarily. We got the bounce on the Jewel Thief, the initial push up here. But typically what happens is, once you get that initial move and then push back up and you save it, you usually get one more big move up and then a failure. And again, just got to be very careful here when we're at the top of the range like this. As we switch over to our monthly, we essentially got the hard sell, and now we're getting the hard buy right afterwards. That's just a monthly finding support right there. We have been able to get back above the blue slope line, so potentially could look bullish here. I don't want to rule it out just yet, but the likelihood of just getting straight up continuation here without some kind of pullback to me looks unlikely. And once again, if you notice, when we get this hard buy signal, often we get it at the absolute like top move. So, we move up here, get the hard buy, and then we get a sell off, and then come back down, and then we can get continuation. In this one, we get the hard buy right here, we get the sell off, and then we get continuation. So here we are getting ready to print this hard buy once again, potentially get the sell off, come back down, find some more around like the 11.7 range or somewhere just higher up, and then keep stair stepping our way up. But at this point in time, nothing has changed for me as far as this peak right here, 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 as far as this peak right here. It looks like the exact same thing. And I don't see any reason we're not just going to come back down, retest that neckline, and then play it by ear from there. So, but we are directly below the blue slope line on the daily. We are moving up on the histogram, but essentially what tends to happen here is we get the move up, the two lines meet, and then we get the rejection. So that is what I'm expecting to happen right now. That is exactly what it looks like is going to happen right now. People are irrationally bullish after the move has already taken place. People did not seem bullish down here at the neckline when we were putting in a double bottom with these big old wicks right here, and then potentially getting continuation, which is where we switch from our shorts into long positions. And again, everybody was trying to short the bottom of the range into support the same way that everyone is trying to buy the top of the range into resistance. So, we got to keep a close eye on this. We are going to, obviously keep coming with the updates. very close to having the new rig set up, and starting to see like the direct improvements on the channel. I'm excited to start doing the live streams and up the quality to HD, 1080 or higher, and really just step the whole game up to the next level. So very excited for that. Should see these improvements hopefully in the very near future, although shipping times have been overall decent, but just unexpected, especially when you're trying to piece together like key parts for something. There always seems like one of the most important parts is missing or taking forever to arrive. So but hopefully that will not be the case, and very soon you will see the direct improvements, and basically the reciprocation of all the community's efforts to improve the channel. And hopefully the TA will continue to roll right off the top of our tongue here, and we'll continue to have a very clear and concise view on what the market is doing. We need to be very careful though, because even if this is getting towards the top of the range and getting ready to sell off, there is quite a bit of stair-stepped support here, especially on Bitcoin, and it's very hard to find a good risk to reward ratio at this time, especially just potentially shorting into this much random support. We would expect to get bounces the whole way down, and then obviously when the violent sell-off comes, we're expecting something like this, we're expecting something like this, we're expecting something like this. It's not just going to happen in a single candle, but we are very close to essentially like having that rollover take effect. And here on the 4 hour, you'll notice that we have actually crossed under with the blue already. We're attempting to push back up above the fuchsia, the purple, but it's just not looking good at this time. But if we do get that pushback up back into the bullish distribution zone, or bullish control zone, we would expect essentially to stay up there for a little longer, creep around, and then get that violent sell-off. But we are putting in multiple histogram wicks here on the TJD TDMACD, and that is typically the symbol that we are going to get a strong move, but not necessarily that the move is over. We could still get continuation up here. So what we're looking for is essentially a sell-off, consolidation, push back up, and then either a new high followed by a violent sell-off, or failure to put in a new high. But I do not expect us to take out this head pattern right here. And just to kind of switch it back over here as well, I know this is the pattern that we've had drawn out for days, weeks now, essentially. The left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. I have seen people with the shoulder down here saying this was the shoulder and that we were getting ready to sell off, and that once we broke through this, it was a failed head and shoulders pattern, and then we're going to break to the upside. Those people are the same people that just go on Twitter or on whatever it is, YouTube, and just basically copy someone else's chart and have no idea what they're talking about. They copy it incorrectly, and then they start making like fake TA like predictions on the market, but in all reality just are absolutely confused. It's the same people that were all in on Litecoin not that long ago when it dropped down to $23. It's the same people that are just trying to get your money. You know who you are, Dan. Stop pretending like you know how to do TA. Stop stealing everyone's charts and trying to act like you know what you're talking about. You're much better off just being honest with your audience and not getting them wrecked, and helping to constructively grow the space, rather than basically just pretending like you know what you're talking about. If you look back at some of these people's videos from a year or two ago, it will be very clear that they literally have no idea what they're talking about, because not only have they not put in the work to actually learn how to do technical analysis, they are basically just going on Twitter and other people's YouTube channels and just stealing their content and then acting like it's their own. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you learn from. The absolute most important thing, same with a move in a market, is to build a solid foundation. Because once you build that foundation, you can grow upon it. If you just build your foundation on a mud pit or build your foundation on quicksand, it's not going to be long before it all comes crumbling down. Just like the traditional markets moves recently, just like Tesla on this massive run that's going on, and just like, going into like a stock split, the price always runs up, and then what happens after the split happens? Everyone sells off. So all the people that are buying now because the stock is affordable and they can buy a whole Apple share or a whole Tesla stock, don't realize that you could just always buy a fractional stock in the same way that you can always buy fractional Bitcoin. There's no reason to be wasting your money investing in something like Bitcoin Cash because you can afford to buy a whole one versus buying an actual Bitcoin and getting part of one. It makes no sense at all. If you're going after altcoins or something like that, going for like these moonshots for like 2 pennies or something like that, the likelihood is that if something is worth 2 cents, it is probably worth 2 cents for a reason. You are probably not a genius and just picking a random lucky lottery ticket winner. And if you are, you probably have a very, very low likelihood of picking the winner, which is why not everybody wins the lottery. So there you have it, guys. Crypto Trend Trader. For once, an actual quick update on the markets and a little bit less of my opinion and wisdom and everything. I've been extremely busy lately, doing quite a bit behind the scenes for the channel, and I'm extremely excited to basically reveal what these changes are and really get to take this channel to the next level. So appreciate everybody out there. Appreciate all the support and all the people that have reached out to me. Crypto Trend Trader, and I'm out of here.